'Tis be a time to party with the pandas. Next time in the workshop. Hey guys, welcome back to the workshop. We are continuing to work on the pirate ship from the Pirate Panda Pirates game by Detestable Games. Again, like I said, I have played it on several occasions. Well, I've played it on one occasion. But the time that I played it was an absolute riot. I had a lot of fun. The mini games are interesting. Like one of them, don't ask me to remember the names, but one of them you had to stack the dice and until the last person was standing, as it were. There we go. And of course, my studio cat, my Princess Rue, wants a few extra pets before we get into things. Alright. Okay. We are nearly finished this wonderful, wonderful thing. And remember, I know I didn't take a picture of it, but the whole thing was green like this. And now it looks like that. So, what I think it's kind of cool. But now we're moving on to the turtle. And we are going to use some of the Too Thin Coats from Duncan Rhodes Academy, which is right here. And we're going to start with the Wavering Green as a base coat. And we'll move on from there. Well, we will start with that. Use our lovely base coat brush. And just a little bit of water to help make it flow better. And now let's kind of paint the turtle. There we are. It'll be interesting to see how the turtle looks once we get everything kind of, together. And I bet you a few of you are wondering about the shell. Well, we'll get to that in a second. Just kind of thinking about the overall colors for the turtle shell, how I want to put it all together. I'm kind of going over what I painted, nice 2 coats. Make sure it's nice and smooth and nice and easy. Okay. And we're beginning to tidy up parts that have been, had wrong color. No, they had overpaints. Basically is what it is, and now we're covering up the paint that got where it shouldn't be. And that's all right. Like I said, we're gonna do 2 thin coats, or if I've thinned it too much, but that's all right. We can do some a couple of extra thin, well, a couple of extra coats with the thinned paint. There we are. Looking good, I think. You can see nice green. Okay, what do we want to do about the shell? A lot of the shells are kind of browny green, so what I'm thinking is we're going to go for the emerald green right here, again from Duncan Roads, Two Thin Coats. And again, we're going to use the base coat brush, get a little bit of water on there to make it flow a little bit. And now we're going to give the shell a nice, good, solid green color. This nice emerald green. We're just following the all things that look like a shell. Trying our very best to be as neat and as tidy as we can. There we are. Keeping it going. Making sure we get all the stuff for the shell. I think the shell will look cool once it's all done. But hey, what do I know? Like I said, I want to try and get a nice, good, solid green color. I don't know if it takes a little bit more than than the two coats. So. And that's what it is. That's what it's going to take. But I think we're pretty solid. Okay. Now comes the fun part. Now I have a green shell, but I want to make it kind of a a brown on top of that. So what I'm thinking is take my Agrax shade, my nice, my buddy, Agrax shade. There he is. So over the green, I'm going to put a nice thick layer. So that when it dries, it'll have, a super good brown tinge to it, but you'll see the green through it, like through the wash. And it's still too green for what I want. So maybe I'll just do another wash on top. And then for the turtle, I have something just ever so slightly different. There we are. And I want to give the turtle kind of a brown, but a far less brown and more green. So I'm going to use the Ethonin Camo Shade. I'm probably saying that wrong, but and that's mostly for, sitting in the recesses. I'm just kind of doing the same thing, just kind of giving it kind of an all over wash. Alright. That's part one. And we're going to do exactly the same to the other half of the turtle, of course. There we go. So we're just kind of going in the other direction. We're, instead of going with the turtle first, we're doing shell first. Why? Well, why not? Yeah. This game was actually, yeah, like I said, like I said earlier, it was really fun to play. The mini games are, you know, they're different. I had a friend of mine describe the game as Mario Kart as a board game, and after playing it, I can kind of agree. So, I mean, you start the game with, you pick 6 cards, and they remain face down and kind of under the board. So even though you've picked them, you still have no idea um, what it is. And I have, with playing this game, of course, I found out that those cards that you pick, which is 6 at the beginning, those are the mini games that you play. Then you use your Panda meeple, which is in the color of whatever, whatever you chose. And you kind of shoot them through the turtle pirate ship that we're painting up here, and you try and get them on one of the six islands. And I believe it was, there's a circle on each of the islands, and some of them are decent size, some of them are really small. Well, one of them is really small. And I think the person that's either on the circle or the closest to the circle gets to choose the mini game, or it's the most people on any particular island. They get to, a card is picked from that island, I think. And then it's read aloud, and you play whatever mini game it is. And then there's a track at the top of the board where another meeple of yours, so you have two, kind of runs around and is trying to get treasure chests, which scores points for your team, for you. It's not really a team, but it scores points for you. But yeah, like I said, it's a lot of fun. I would definitely play this game again. It was a ton of fun. I had very much a good time playing this game. I don't know, so it's a good family, or if you have friends over, it's a good party game to play, a good family game. The turtle piece here is meant to be stored in two halves, so you can't ever, well, I guess you could, but if you want it to fit in the box, if you want to keep it in the box, then you wouldn't be able to ever glue the two halves together, because you'd never be able to get it back in the box. It's kind of loving how material's coming out. I did not think it would necessarily kind of come out. Mostly because I didn't know what colors I was going to use. But it's coming out okay. Oh, there we go. Alright, move you off for a second. Put you down. Well, let's give these guys a wash and see where we are from there. And this time, we'll start with the shell. And the shell, we used egg waxer shade. And we wanted a lot on the shell. Give it that nice green undertone, but kind of a that brown. for the skin, we're going to use that the camel shade. And again, we want a nice, decent amount. Make sure that we're getting in those crevices and all those little nooks and crannies. There we are. I'm pretty sure we can just leave that one to dry right in that spot right there. We don't have to move it anywhere. So while we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to go back to the other side. And you're going to go to my favorite non-white white, Vallejo's Ghost Gray. Alright, so you can kind of see how the turtle shell and the turtle are different. Well, what we're going to do first, we're going to take some of this non-white white, that's what I thought. We're gonna paint in the eye. Dang it. now, but that's okay. We'll get it cleaned up. Put that aside. The side's mostly dry. Well, whatever. Gonna try and get a nice solid color. You know what? While we wait for those to dry, we've got another part of the ship that we've completely forgotten about. We forgot the sail. And it'll be nice. Just a nice little change. just gonna fill in the sails here. There we are. Now we're going to go back to the first side. Here we are. All right. Gonna take another run at the eye here. Oh, let's take a look at this one. All right. Oh, it's just a little bit of black tidy up. And the pupil of the eye, of course. Oops. we are. There we go. Oh, almost forgot the tube. Oh, yeah. There we are. It is pretty much done. So what we will do, I know we've gone a little over, and that's okay. Sometimes it just has to happen that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tape off. And take the tape off. tape seems to like my hands. There we are. And then together there is our new pirate ship from the, super lime green that it was. Boom. Cool. Alright, guys. Stay safe. Be safe. Most of all, paint safe. And we'll see you next time in the workshop.